Let's talk about one of the biggest, most ambitious, least known defense projects in the world, an effort that could completely reshape global security and even challenge the dominance of the United States in military aviation. Imagine this. Japan and the United Kingdom are teaming up to build one of the most advanced fighter jets ever designed in. For once, the US isn't part of the project. That's right, Tokyo and London have decided to go their own way. In a world where nearly every major military innovation runs through Washington, this partnership marks a bold move toward independence. The project is called the Global Combat Air Program, or GCAP. It was launched in 2022 with Italy as a partner. And the goal is simple but monumental: to create a 6th-generation fighter jet ready to fly by 2035, informally known as the Tempest. This aircraft promises to be the most interoperable, adaptable, and connected fighter in existence. It could even become the first 6th-generation jet to enter service, ahead of both the Franco-German FCAS and the future US F-47. But GCAP isn't just about building a single fighter, it's about building an entire ecosystem. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries has already presented conceptual designs for autonomous drones that will fly alongside the main jet, acting as loyal wingmen. These drones will be equipped with AI internal weapon bays and distributed sensors connected to a cloud-based combat network. The result? A formation that flies, thinks, learns, and even decides as one. This isn't just engineering, it's strategy. No. By integrating artificial intelligence, the program aims to create a self-learning system capable of coordinating multiple aircraft in real time. The main fighter itself will feature a fully digital cockpit, cutting-edge radar, smart weapons, and adaptive sensors. Essentially, it's a supersonic computer with Wingsan Airborne Command Center designed for the battlefields of the future. For Japan and the UK, GCAP isn't only a technological leap, it's a statement of intent. These two island nations, separated by half the world, are signaling that they intend to shape their own security destiny. Historically, Japan's defense policy has been defined by its pacifist constitution, while Britain has been searching for a global role after Brexit. Now, both countries have found common ground. And there's history here. Over a century ago, in 1902, Britain and Japan signed the Anglo-Japanese Alliance, the first equal military partnership between a European and an Asian power. Back then, their shared goal was to counter Russian expansion. During the Russo-Japanese War, Britain provided intelligence and financial support, while Japan returned the favor in World War I by protecting Allied ships in the Mediterranean. That alliance lasted until 1923 and, 100 years later, the two nations are once again aligning their interests, this time against a new continental giant, China. Today, their cooperation extends far beyond the drawing board. Japanese F-15Js have been deployed to Europe for the first time in history, while the British aircraft carrier, HMS Prince of Wales, recently docked in Tokyo Bay. The two countries have signed agreements allowing mutual deployment of troops and equipment, launched joint exercises, and are even working on next-generation missiles together. Their defense relationship has reached a level unseen in modern history. What makes GCAP especially significant is its independence from the U.S. defense system. Unlike the American F-35, this new jet won't depend on U.S. technology or export restrictions. Britain, Japan, and Italy will have full control over production, sales, and maintenance, granting them unprecedented strategic autonomy. For the first time in decades, they'll be able to develop and sell advanced fighters without Washington's approval. And that's not a small thing. It gives these nations not just self-reliance, but also new geopolitical leverage. Selling such technology could mean enormous profits, funding for future projects, and greater diplomatic influence. In fact, Japan has already relaxed its long-standing ban on exporting lethal weapons, allowing these fighters to be sold abroad. For a country that has lived under pacifist constraints since World War II, this marks a monumental shift. But why now? The answer is simple. Asia is heating up. China's military growth is relentless. In 2023, Beijing's Avit unveiled a concept for its own 6th-generation stealth fighter, diamond-shaped, autonomous, and highly stealthy, scheduled for the mid-2030s, the same target window as GCAP. Japan can't afford to fall behind. If China's jet takes to the skies first, Tokyo's deterrence could evaporate overnight, forcing it to rely once again on the United States. That's exactly what Japan wants to avoid. Meanwhile, Britain is looking to remain relevant in a post-Brexit world. By partnering with Japan and Italy, it gains a foothold in the Indo-Pacific, the world's most strategically vital region. For London, it's a way to prove that global Britain isn't just a slogan. Still, behind all the optimism lies a critical question. How deep does this alliance really go? If a conflict erupted in East Asia tomorrow, would British pilots fly alongside the Japanese over the East China Sea? Would Japanese jets defend a NATO ally in Europe? The truth is, probably not. Because while both nations are aligning strategically, this isn't a full military alliance. It's more like a partnership focused on technology, industry, and shared interests. Japan remains bound by Article 9 of its constitution, which prohibits offensive warfare. Although Tokyo has started reinterpreting this clause to allow limited collective defense, it's still politically sensitive. Most Japanese citizens support higher defense spending, but few want to see their forces engaged in combat abroad. On the other side, Britain's ambitions are limited by economic reality. Despite pledges to raise defense spending, the UK's budget is strained by debt and inflation. The country can deploy aircraft carriers to the Pacific for exercises, but maintaining a permanent military presence there would be difficult. So yes, the Anglo-Japanese partnership is real, but it's also pragmatic. It's not about mutual defense commitments. It's about combining strengths. Britain brings aerospace expertise. Japan brings advanced electronics and manufacturing. And together with Italy, they're building an aircraft that could redefine air power in the 21st century. If GCAP succeeds, it won't just produce a fighter, it could trigger a major shift in the global defense industry. Other nations like South Korea or Germany might eventually join, forming an alternative network of Western military cooperation, independent of US control. That could make Western defense more diverse and resilient. Of course, that would also challenge the US defense industry's dominance, which could create tensions, but it might also strengthen the collective power of America's allies by making them more self-sufficient. In many ways, GCAP is a metaphor for the current world order: technology as power, cooperation as necessity, and independence as the ultimate goal. It's an ambitious bet on the future one that blends engineering, politics, and strategy in a single aircraft. So when the first GCAP fighter finally takes off, it won't just be a test of aerodynamics. It will be a test of whether nations like Japan and the UK can truly chart their own course in a world still dominated by superpowers. Will it become just another expensive experimentor at the start of a new era of global military balance? Only time will tell. One thing's for sure: the sky over the Indo-Pacific is about to get a lot more interesting.